What if the way you've been telling your life story reveals the secret to what is holding you back? Stories play an integral part in how we see not only ourselves, but the whole world. Stories are more than just an important part of communication. They also reveal hidden aspects of our inner talk, which can either support us or end up holding us back from the very things we want most in life, without us even realizing it. Join author, mindset coach, and award-winning singer-songwriter Carrie Rowan on her show, Look for the Good, every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. when she shares nuggets of wisdom from her internationally best-selling book, Tell a New Story, 5 Simple Steps to Release Your Negative Stories and Bring Joy to Your Life. Carrie's powerful stories and compelling guests will empower you to change how you look at your own life while giving you some powerful tools and tips you can use every day to help you feel better and move yourself closer to the life you've been longing to live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Look for the Good. I'm your host, Carrie Rowan, mindset strategist and coach, and I love sharing nuggets of wisdom about the stories that we tell each other, and more importantly, those stories we tell ourselves. And you can join me and my special guests as we share our personal stories of strength and triumph every week here at Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. You can listen online on your mobile device, in your car, or ask Alexa to play Dream Vision 7 Radio. And tune in every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. to get real stories and tips on how to turn your story and your life around. And welcome back, everybody. I have Amy Goober waiting in the wings. Hello, Amy.
Hi.
So excited to have you here. And before we get going, you guys know we love talking about stories. And that's what we're going to talk about today, those stories. But sometimes we have a little story, especially as women, that we don't even realize is the very thing holding us back from what we want in life, right? And a lot of times the story sounds like, especially for like midlife women like ourselves, it sounds like, I don't think I can do that, or I don't really deserve that, or, oh, it's too late for me, right? Fill in the blank, whatever the resources, time, money, age, whatever. It's too something for you. And these are the little stories I want you to start paying attention to because they seem small, but they can really be huge when it comes to stopping us from doing that very thing that we want to do. And we're going to talk a lot about that today because Amy is a really cool action coach. Can I read them your little bio here?
Go right ahead.
So I love that title, action coach. I don't think I've seen another action coach, so that's really cool. Um, and not only are you that, but you are the founder of Better Together events, which I've seen before. They look amazing. And the founder of Wandering Women Travel. And you do these incredible retreats. We were just talking about the Punta Cana one. And she is also an Amazon best-selling author of My Mother Always Says, 25 Lessons for Finding the Silver Lining. I love that. And you wrote it for with your mom, right?
Right. Yes. My 93 at the time. Now she's 94, but then she was 93. Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Let's launch with that because I find that I love talking about strong women and amazing women who've done incredible things like you, and you have these overcomer amazing stories. And then there's always another woman, right? There's always another woman that inspires us. People talk about their grandmas or their moms or an aunt or something. So I love kicking the show off talking about that. Tell us a little bit about your mom and how you guys decided to do that project together.
Yeah. So, we always hear the stories and the words of whoever raised us, whether it's our mother or a different, adult role model. And it it's been in the past, like I'd say 5 to 8 years, that I really found myself quoting my mother in my regular life with my family and then in my work life. And I just said, I've got to write this down. I mean,
Yeah.
it was very consistent that I was saying, well, my mother would say, and my mother always says. So I said to my mother, let's write a book. And so it's part memoir because it chronicles her amazing life. She was 10 years old in World War II. I mean, you
Wow.
have to really, and she was under the covers with a flashlight because there were all night blackouts in Norfolk, Virginia, and her parents were not even in the house. She was 10, left alone, reading a book under the covers with a flashlight because it was a blackout. So,
Wow.
she's lived an
Wow.
incredible life. And so it's part memoir and then it's part these 25 life lessons. And we talk about the life lessons, which are the sayings, but they're really lessons. And she gives an example or describes it. And then I talk about it as an action coach and how the reader, I kind of challenge the reader to figure out how they're going to work this out in their own life. So it's a little bit of everything, but I think we've gotten incredible reviews, incredible feedback. You know, I've had husbands of my friends texting me and saying, I grabbed Patty's book and I'm reading your book now, you know. So we think sometimes that men aren't going to read it, and that's ridiculous because everybody needs inspiration. And the big message is there are no bad experiences, only the
I
ones you
love
don't
that.
learn from.
Hmm.
And my father died when I was 15. So I was very young. And my mother, therefore, was a young widow. She was 42.
Wow.
And my brother and I were about to go off to college. And to summarize, she basically went back to school. She already had a master's in English, but she went back to school to be a social worker. And through the course of her work, started the first bereavement center that existed in New York. This is now like the late 1970s.
Wow.
So there was bereavement, meaning people died, right? And
Yeah.
people were sad, but there
Right.
wasn't a lot of support. There, you know, it wasn't talked about.
Hmm.
So long story short, she starts this bereavement center, and then 20 years later is 9/11, which is the anniversary is coming up now. And she was the one. She was there. That we lived like about an hour outside of Manhattan, and she was the expert in the area, the bereavement expert, and she counseled hundreds and hundreds of widows.
Oh,
And
you just gave me a chill.
me too, I have the chills too. So
Oh.
it's just wild, you know. And so, but really the underlying message is when bad things happen, and they always happen, that's life. I mean, you know, they're going to happen. They do happen, big, medium, small things
Hmm.
happen that you consider
Hmm.
bad or sad. You probably won't see it then. Don't expect to find this, you know, rainbow coming out of it. But when you look back on your life and you say, how did I get where I am? Well, you know what? Probably because I powered through something difficult, whether it was a death or a relationship or financial hardship, friends dumping you, whatever it is, you know. So that's the philosophy of the book.
I love that. So I just want to recap that because I love that. So there was so much. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
the chill. I still have the chills about your mother and all those amazing things she did in New York. And I like what you said. I just want to talk a little bit about that. When bad things happen, because I remember that book. Remember that book a long time ago, When Bad Things Happen to Good People.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that philosophy. But you're saying when bad things happen, you got to power through it.
Mhm.
How do you do that?
Well, I mean, I think what I recommend, you know, even to my family, I'm married, I have 3 adult children, you know, to friends, I just kind of say, feel the feels. Don't
Yeah.
squawk it down, right? Feel the feels,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, lean on your resources, use your resources, whether you
Mm-hmm.
have the support system or you're going to read a book about it or you're going to listen to your beautiful podcast. You know, use your resources. You don't have to
Mm-hmm.
go it alone.
Yeah.
And then I'm an action coach. So for me, then it's like, what are you going to do? What are the things you can do? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I really believe that life is divided into 2 columns. There's the things
Yep.
you can control and the things you can't control. And a lot of times we forget, and women especially forget, that there's a lot that we can control, even if it's a tiny little piece of
Mm.
something.
Yeah.
Talking about it. I mean, there's so many things. So, you know, I'm no expert on getting through bad things, but I have gotten through bad things in my life. And that was my father dying when I was 15 was certainly one of them, and really changed, I think, so much about my trajectory and things like that. But I think a lot of times women get buried by, swallowed up by the bad. And
Yeah.
when the bad becomes so much bigger than it needs to be, and look, death is one thing that's very final, but think of
Right.
all the things that women complain about that's, you know, bad, just bad things. You have to just say to yourself, and then one of the lessons in the book that my mother says is, don't make it bigger than it has to be.
That's so
If
funny. I
it's
was,
not a major tragedy, it's
yeah,
not that bad. And, you know, in
right.
a month, are you going to even remember what you were upset about?
It's
So,
so true. Yeah.
you know, I think those things.
That's so powerful what you just said. And as you were talking, I was thinking about what Tony Robbins says about women, we make mountains out of molehills, right?
Mhm.
And then men are the opposite. They minimize everything.
Mhm.
So never make a problem worse than it is. That is amazing advice.
Yeah.
That right there, right, is focus on what you can control and then don't make it bigger than it really is, because that's what we do. We think it's gonna last forever. It's horrible. It's gonna be the end of me, right? Our minds start telling us all these things that aren't true.
Right. And in the book, my mother always says 25 lessons for finding the silver lining, even though it's a long title, we felt it was hugely important to know that these are the words. And now people don't know till they turn the book over that she's 93 and all she's been through, but to respect and value the words of our elders.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
in this country, there isn't a great value placed on older people.
Yep. So
So
true.
I think that's important. And also that to me, these sayings have helped me. Look, we just talked about one. And we've been on for a few minutes, have helped me through so many things. So I hope people will take a minute and not only get the book and read it, but remember your own. What are the sayings in your head? What
Yes.
is it that you've heard? And as we know, some are not good. Some of our self-talk and repetitious talk is not good, but there's so much good, and
Yeah.
we're in control of so many things.
We are, and we
So
forget
many.
that because we give our power away. As women, we were trained that when we were little. Sit still, be nice, don't
Yeah,
say anything if you have something nice to say to somebody, right?
yeah,
Look pretty,
yeah,
cross your legs, all
yeah.
the things, right? Like we're told that our voices shouldn't be heard, right? So it's just programmed in us. And then the other thing that happens, right, as coaches, we love talking about the brain stuff, is our brains are so predisposed to look for what's wrong. They're just trying to keep us safe. That's what it does. So
Mhm.
it's not looking for the good. But the good news is you can rewire that. You can help your brain and teach it how to start looking for the good and
Right.
start, right? Start with your own stories.
Mhm. Yes,
And
definitely.
so I love that philosophy because and the philosophy that I have more responsibility for my life than I think I do. That whole thing that I'm 100% responsible. No, I cannot control other people's behavior, but what I can control, I will control. And I love making a list of those things.
Right, and I think I always say it can be small, medium, or large.
Mm,
You
mhm.
can do something small, which might be sign up for a yoga class. Let's just say that's your small thing, and it's
Sure.
hard for you, and you don't want to go where you don't know anyone, whatever people's obstacles are. So you sign up for it. Okay, I would call that small.
Yeah. Little
Go
tiny step. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Medium is now you're trying to grow your circle, and you're in this yoga class, and do you say hello to the woman who's next to you? And you're nervous and do you say let's go for coffee? That's medium. Like that's a big step for some people, right? And
Hmm.
then fear of rejection, other things, but you do. And then large, yoga aside, is making a big change in your life, whether you're moving or you're trying to find a new partner or you want a different work or passion project. Those are big.
Yeah.
But you don't have to start big, start small. But I
Yes.
think as we get older, well, I know 2 things. I know our circle shrinks, that's not even a question. It just by
True.
attrition and just by people moving and people babysitting for their grandchildren and people retiring.
Hmm.
So our circle shrinks, and then these women lament. They're alone,
Ooh.
they're alone, they're alone. So that's why, and you and I talked about this, in our first conversation, that's why I create these events. I create women's events where women can just show up on their own, don't have to have a friend, they just show up, they sit in their seat, they look to the right, they look to the left, everyone's talking to each other, they're sitting with women that want to meet them. Like that for some people is a big step,
Mm.
but what is the alternative? The alternative is you what? You stay home. And
Yeah.
how often are you home? All the time, right? So,
Totally.
and we do have a lot of control, and we can do
Hmm.
it in small ways, and we can do what feels comfortable, but look, we have to get out of our comfort zone, you know,
Totally.
and
Yes.
that's here, one of my favorite sayings, this is my own saying, is get comfortable being uncomfortable,
Oh my god, I love that. I say that all I had
right?
one of my yoga or not yoga, I think it was, like, back when we were doing, like, aerobics, used to
Yeah.
say that, "Get comfortable being uncomfortable," and it's so true
Right.
because, again, there's that sneaky mind. As soon as we step that little toe over that comfort zone, it
Mhm.
wants to pull us back in. People talk about imposter syndrome and da da da, but that's all it really is. It's just your mind telling you, "Ooh, no, come on back in. Stay here where it's comfortable, warm, and safe, and you're small," right? And so it's like interrupting that.
Yeah, and I think that as we get older, we lose some of our confidence. We are rusty.
Yeah.
You know, if you went away to school, you went to college, you're meeting tons of people. You know, maybe
Mm.
you have a family, you move to a new community, you're meeting all these moms of kids. You know, we're rusty now. Many
Mm.
of us, if we've had
Mhm.
kids that graduated, you know, we're just like trying to make our way. So we've lost our confidence. And I
Mm.
think also like the trips that I plan, Wandering Women, I women have to speak to me first. They can't just, even on the website, they can't just click send deposit. It's just, they just can't. So they
Yeah.
have to fill out a form and I call them. I mean,
Uh,
you know, I
I
want to
love it.
talk to them on the phone. Yeah. Well, I want them to know who I am. I want them to know what I am and what I'm not. I mean, I think that's really important. And I want to chat with them, right? They haven't decided yet. They're just curious. And almost every single one of the many that have traveled with us says, this is out of my comfort zone to go on a trip with people I've never traveled with and to go someplace I've never been and I don't know you and I don't know these women, they'll say, this is out of my comfort zone. And I love that they're self-aware enough to know that. And then
Mhm.
I will say to them, I totally get that. And every woman I've spoken, they all say the same thing. So you're in good company. But what is the alternative?
Mm.
The alternative is you stay home. And how often are you home? And they say, you know, we're always home. So it's not to negate the feelings, feel the feels we said before,
Mhm.
but it is about looking yourself in the mirror and saying, what am I going to do with the rest of my day,
Mm.
with the rest of my week, with the rest of my year and onward? And I spoke to women recently that just signed up for a trip we're taking to Asheville, North Carolina. And she was really hesitant. It was this exact conversation. She was a recent widow. She said, my friends are all in couples, the whole thing. And I
Mhm.
said to her, you found me. You just read this entire trip website. What do you what do you think? Look at the
Mhm.
pictures. Could you picture yourself in these group pictures? And she said, I think I would love it. And I said, then, and she said, my kids want me to go. My kids want me to do. And I said, okay, then. And she's coming. And I'm so
Yay.
proud of her. And I said to her, own it
Yeah.
because confidence is in layers, isn't it?
Totally.
So I said to her, look, you've done this
Yeah.
now. You've signed up for a trip doing something you've never done. The next time someone says, do you want to go to dinner? You're going to go. Like it's right. It's
Yeah.
layering.
It's the
The next
building.
time a
Yeah.
door
Yeah.
opens, you're going to walk through it.
Yeah, totally. I love that. And here's the thing, people get a little confused, as coach, we're both coaches here. So it's those tiny little steps and they don't think that a tiny little step, right? That leads you to the bigger steps, but over time they accumulate. So you take that tiny little baby step and you don't think it's much, but then a month later you look back and you're like, "Oh, wow, wait. I've meditated every day," or fill in the blank. "I've gone to yoga twice a week, every week." Like whatever that small thing is, don't underestimate the power of that small thing because that's the very thing that creates a new habit all the time.
Right. And honestly, we're all, I won't speak for you, I'll speak for myself. I am very often uncomfortable and nervous about things. I wasn't today because we had spoken and I think we are in incredible alignment. So this was fun to me. But I do a lot of things that I have to push myself through. I
Mhm.
absolutely do.
Mhm.
So you have to realize that everybody has some sort of, most people have some sort of inner hesitation. We're
They
all the
do.
same.
It's so
But
we all do. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
but you just go. I run meetup groups, and I know there's women sitting in their car in the parking lot. I know it, that leave. I know it for a fact because they say they're coming, and they don't show up. So why did they not show up?
Mhm.
But the ones that are there often say, "Well, I didn't know. I've never had dinner with people I don't know." The whole thing. And then they at the end, they say, "I'm so glad I came." And I say, "Try it out." What's the
Yeah.
worst thing that happens is in the middle of the dinner, you're so miserable, you get up and leave. I
Right.
mean, it has never happened, but let's just say.
That's
Or
right.
let's say you think it's only okay, then don't come back.
Exactly.
Anyway, we're
I
sort of
love that. No, but I love that because I love what you just said too, because I say that to my kids all the time. Okay, that's what squelches anxiety. What's the worst thing that happened? What is the worst thing,
worst case scenario.
right? Okay, you're worried to get on stage, you're afraid you're going to trip on your shoes. Whatever, it doesn't matter how silly it is.
Mhm.
Let's talk about it because behind that is just a little story, right? It's just that's just a little story that you're telling yourself.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that one time, or I'm not good at conversation, whatever that little thing is.
Mhm.
And then I love that you just kind of push yourself to get out there and you're going to love it. You're going to have a great time.
Right, and even if you don't, you've learned something.
Yeah.
even if you don't, even if you go try pickleball and you try it 4 times and you just hate it, don't play pickleball. So you don't have to love everything. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like I agree
Totally.
with you. They're going to probably love 95% of the things.
Yeah.
But if there's something or something you try or someone you hang out with and you don't love it and it doesn't feel good, there's a world out there.
Yeah.
World of people, world of activities, world of everything.
Yeah.
So
It's okay. And
it's
just tell yourself that, right? You just tried it. You got to be proud of yourself and high five yourself in the mirror just because you did it. It doesn't matter, really. It's not about the outcome. It's the fact that you did it. And when you show up and you say you're going to do something and you follow through and do it, that's where real confidence comes from.
right. And it's layered.
It's totally
You're not
layered.
one day not confident and the next day hugely confident. It's a stacking process.
Totally. I love that. I love that philosophy. All right, we're going to break real quick, everybody. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Amy Goober. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Look for the Good. We're having this incredible conversation here with Amy Goober today, and I love everything we're talking about. I'm so excited about all that. You just dropped so many gems of wisdom. Like people are going to have to like listen to that over and over. There's so much good stuff, and I love what we are talking about, the book with your mom and everything. And let me think about the fact that I read a stat that said something like 90% of people want to write a book. They feel strongly that they have a book within them. And I'm
Right.
sure they do, but about less than 5% ever get around to writing that.
Right. Yeah. And, again, we talked about the things you want to do, the things I think that there's, you have to meet in the middle between like your goals and your dreams and what's realistic.
Mm.
But I think many women weigh heavier on what's realistic and they sort of drop the part of their goal. So for me, I kind of said, we're going to write this book. And a good thing I didn't know what was involved. I probably
Right,
might not have
exactly.
done it.
Oh, believe me, I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful I did. It was very hard. It was long, all the things. But you know
Yeah.
what? It's okay because uh, it's really important that you do it. Well, I'm also a fan of do what you say you're going to do.
Yes. Which we were just talking about, right? I think that's the essence of confidence
Right.
because what happens if you don't, if you say you're going to do something and you don't, you start to lose confidence in yourself.
Right. And and I've tried to really teach my kids that, my adult children, and especially like, my daughters. I have 2 daughters and 1 son. And look, we talk about a lot of things, but I really try to do what we say we're going to do. We're going to go on this trip. We're going. You know, we say we're gonna whatever,
It's
celebrate
true.
someone's birthday, we're going to. We say we're gonna write a book, we do. But we've tried other things. We've
Right.
tried other things that we've put aside. So
Sure.
it's not a perfect science, but I just I really believe, actually, can I tell you a quick story?
Please do.
Okay. So this is one of my white beliefs. I really believe the things we regret in life are the things we don't do.
So true.
Rarely do we
Yes.
say, "Oh, too bad I blank, blank, blank." We more likely say, "I wish I had this when I was younger," or "I wish I had done this," or "I wish I had done that," right? So,
Yes.
very quick, I'll try to really summarize this. So
Mm.
I had a little girl and 3 years later, a little boy, and then we thought we were done. I had my daughter at 33 and my son at 36, and I'm going back 30 years. So, that
Wow.
was very that was very old. And we sort of thought we were done, and then I said to my husband, "I wanna have another I think," and in my family, they were all 2s. 3 was, like, to somebody else's 6. 3 was,
Yeah.
like, a
Yeah.
big deal. So my husband said, "Oh, no, we can't do that because we sold the crib, the yard." I'm kidding, right? So
No, it's a
long
great
story short,
excuse.
yeah, long story short, and so I had her, I was almost 42. I mean, it was a big.
Wow.
But the point I wanna make is I found this high risk obstetrician and I was so before I got pregnant, I was so
Yeah.
conflicted before I got pregnant, and this man
Wow.
called me back. I wasn't even a patient, and I went through the whole scenario of my kids and my this and my age and maternal age, and that's where I got that line. He said to me, and this daughter is now 24. So this conversation was over
Wow.
26 years ago, and he said, "The things we regret in life are the things we don't do." So
Ugh,
that is what I would love your listeners to think about.
I love that.
What is
Another
the
chill.
thing?
Yeah.
What is the thing? And when I do my Better Together events, this sometimes is one of my topics because we have like 10 speakers, but I let myself
Yeah.
speak a little. And I say to the audience, what are you thinking about? Go do it.
Yeah.
Small, medium, large. It doesn't have to be life changing. It can just be change a hair color. It can be really
Right.
minimal. Try a new food, anything. Call
Yep.
an old friend. What are you thinking about? Go
Well, wow.
do it. Who do you want to say I love you to? Go
Mm,
do it. Who are you thinking about? Write them a card. Whatever the thing is, what have you been saying? How many times do you know someone says, I'm going to try, I'm thinking
yeah.
pickleball, yoga. It could be anything.
Right, right.
It could be a new restaurant. It could be anything. Go do it. So
So true. Oh my gosh. It's so, we're so in sync. It's ridiculous. So in my big signature talk that I do, um, I have a slide that shows a rocking chair. It's called the rocking chair test, right? And it's a beautiful rocking chair on the porch in a beautiful space. And I ask them, I tell them about the rocking chair test, close your eyes and imagine that you're 90 something and you're sitting in that rocking chair. What is the one thing that you wish you did?
yeah,
Right? And you bring them through that exercise
yeah.
because actually what your doctor said is so true because it's based on a study that was done about the regrets of the dying. And
Mhm.
that's what they talked about. They don't talk about what they did. They talk about that one thing they didn't do.
Right.
So
And
powerful.
right. And don't get scared off by the one thing because it doesn't have to be huge.
Right.
Just talked about how the confidence is in layers. It can be a little thing. It could be a medium thing, but start doing those things.
Yeah. Amen. Yes.
We got it.
That is so important, right? Because that's the stuff that you don't do. Why? I don't know. We get busy. And again, I think there's a story in there for a lot of women. Like, I shouldn't or I can't. Like, I don't know about you, but when women come to me, they forget what they love. Like, let's talk about what do you love? Make me a list of what you love. They know what everybody else loves.
Yeah,
They're not sure what they love anymore. Why does
exactly.
that happen? Right?
I do the exact same. We are in a scary way in sync. And I do this because it came from me, but yeah, I think we forget, like, my husband will say, we're going to go out to dinner. Where do you want to go? What do I say? Where do you
I
want to go?
don't know. Right.
Ridiculous. I know
Right.
where I want to go and I know where I don't want to go, but I'm just like, whatever you want. That's ridiculous. So I do think women, as they get older, forget it's exactly what they like, I say, but the same thing they forget. So it's a good muscle to flex,
It's
right?
such a great muscle to flex because that's where the juice of life is when we go back to the things, right? I have a friend of mine who is an amazing artist. She doesn't think she is, but she's unbelievable. And she paints these cards. And I got her to set up just whatever it is that you want to do, set it up. So you have to look at it, right? Hers is physical. She wanted to start painting. I said, just get your paints out, find a place in the house, set them up on the table, and just put them there so you have to walk by them. It's
Yeah.
why all my instruments are out when I walk through this room. Um, because I want it to call me. I wanted to say, pick me up, Carrie, play your guitar, sit down at the piano when you have a few minutes. So, what is that thing that you love and make it easy for yourself to do it?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Right. All those things. And maybe it's something you've been doing all along that you realize you don't like, or it's a person in your life. The person test for me is when you get off, how do you feel when you get off the phone with that person? Again, the
Mm,
phone isn't as used today, but that's the test for me is,
yep.
you feel great about yourself. Are you lifted up? Or are you like, oh gosh, oh, my life, how do you feel? And if you're knocked down by somebody or depleted by somebody, start looking around because, that is not, that doesn't mean you don't have problems. It doesn't mean things aren't difficult, but our friends should be lifting us up.
I love that. Yes. Lifting you, you're not a dumping station, right? Like you had friends that would call and just dump all their stuff. Like, oh, that's too much for me, right? As an empath, I take that all in, right? So, and I mean, there's a time for that. It's okay and to some degree, but every single time you talk to them, then that's not something that's serving you, really.
But also, yes, I agree with all of that, but also it's how do they make you feel about yourself is kind of what
Mm,
I'm saying.
hmm Yes.
I really try
Yes.
to lift other people up. I'm very cognizant of, and women especially say, well, I just got lucky. Well, I don't think you got lucky if you
Mm,
completed this course all by yourself while you were working full time. I don't think that's luck, so I try to help women realize what they have inside and how they got where they are. And it's not because of somebody else, and it's not because the weather was good, and it's not because, whatever.
Right.
It's because they made it happen. And a lot of times I think we don't take credit for our own accomplishments.
That's so, so true. And another thing, is like just getting somebody to realize that, like you're saying, waking them up to that story. That's just a story. Oh, I was just lucky. I mean, having a lucky story is actually a good story usually,
Mhm.
but really owning yourself and owning that empowerment, and saying to yourself, wow, wait a second. Look at all these things I have done in my life, because we forget,
Yes.
make a little list for yourself of all the really cool things that you've done. And that includes getting over something or getting out of something. That goes on the list too. It's not just all the great accolades and the this and the that, but it's all those other things. It's all those feelings we got through. It's where we used to be as a person and where we are today.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the beauty of it. And all those stories and those things that we had to go through, because you and I both have a lot of those, that goes on the list too, because that makes you the beautiful human that you are today.
Right.
Right? Stronger, more resilient. And
Right.
those are qualities that we want to be our legacy, to pass on to the other women that come after us and our kids. And
Yes. Yes.
yeah, so that's really powerful. So, talk to us about, we've got a couple more seconds before we jump here on a little break. But I love what you're doing with these groups where you mentioned come out to dinner with all of us together, and then
Right.
you have like an in person, and then you do the trip. So you've got every little angle handled, and I'd love to get my mother on one of those trips, by the way.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, I do meet up like a dinner and a lunch and a breakfast here and there, and then I run a community also called Better Together, which it's a combination of 3 virtual events a month, like a book
Hmm.
club, a meet and greet, and then we bring in an expert on Zoom, and then we do quarterly in-person events. So we've done like a Galentine's brunch, we've done charcuterie workshop, and this month, which is next week, we're doing a 4-course cheese dinner at
Oh,
like a charcuterie store, and it's all
fun.
based on women cheese artisans. I mean, you
You're
can't make this
kidding.
stuff up. No. So we have a small community of women that do that. And that's, sometimes you want to be home. You don't want to go out for book club. You want to be home. Great. Get a glass of wine, get a cup of tea, put on your slippers, wear your t-shirt. I could care less. So sometimes people want to just be, and then sometimes they want to be out and like tapping people on the shoulder and giving big hugs. So we have a combination of that. So, because I think women are looking for community, all of them, everywhere. I really do believe that. I really do. And so that's what
So
I'm trying
true.
to provide. As you said, we go on trips, we have big events, we do all these things. And listen, I have a wonderful family and I have a group of friends. It's not that I don't, but I love meeting new women and I love hearing their stories, as you spoke of. And I love seeing them connect. When I do a trip or an event and then I see 3 people from that on Facebook, like having dinner, I'm like, yay. And I can tell. I mean, I'm watching. I know they didn't know each other before. I'm positive they didn't. So things like that. I think there's so much power in connection.
Yes, it's a synchronistic effect, right? Like having those connections. And they say that's one of the things that help with longevity for women is having a circle of friends that you can count on, that you can call. And I love that. It's like you're really teaching networking. Really. You're
Right.
teaching networking in a social situation, right? To
Social.
build
Right.
your community. And
Exactly.
it's a really, really beautiful thing, Amy.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. So we're going to break real quick. We'll be right back. I know you guys are hanging on. Amy's just dropping so many wisdom bombs. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Look for the Good. We're having the most incredible conversation. I know I said that before, but it just keeps getting better and better. I didn't think it was possible with Amy Goober. And you're dropping so much wisdom about how do you do things? Like, it's never too late in life, which is what I love. It's my tagline. It's never too late to live your best story. So, okay, I've got an idea in my head, but I just don't know where to start. What would you recommend? People are listening. They're like, oh, here's the one thing I wish that I did, but I don't know how to start.
Right. And I would say don't get too hung up on why you haven't started. Like do not do like all this self-examination because that will just slow you down.
Yeah, totally.
And don't do a huge amount of research because the confused mind does nothing.
Ooh. Love that.
You want to, go do something and you spend 6 months researching it. You won't decide. So how to start, I think, is to figure out what the thing is. What is it that you want to do? Let's
Mhm.
just say, uh, there's so many examples, but let's say that you want to, let's say go on a trip. Let's just use that as an example because that's on the top of my mind. So you want to go on a trip. So you just have to figure out what are three choices. Don't have 25 choices, three
Mm.
choices,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And you tell yourself that you're going to spend, 15 to 20 minutes every couple of days thinking about it and researching it. Right? You don't want to spend 24 hours, but you don't want to spend 3 minutes. And let's say it's cleaning out your house is another perfect example. Like I'm gonna downsize my house. This is probably even a better example. And you know why you don't do it? Who wants to do that? Nobody. Nobody wants to do
And
it.
it's
And who has the
overwhelming.
time? Nobody. So you have to shrink it down. It's sort of what I was getting at. So
Mhm.
let's use the declutter your house. I think that's a better example,
That's a
actually.
great example.
Right? And so what I suggest you do is you start with one area of your house.
Mhm.
Not not the biggest. Don't go to the attic, you
Or the
know,
basement.
right, or the basement, but don't make it a junk drawer either. Maybe it's the linen
Mm.
closet. Maybe it's your pantry closet. Maybe it's, something not the littlest, but not the biggest. And you start with one thing and you set your timer on your phone or your oven or whatever for 30 minutes. And you tell yourself, I can do anything for 30 minutes. I'm only going to do this for 30 minutes. And then when 30 minutes comes and you're like really on a roll, you stop because
Oh,
you promised yourself you were
right.
only going to do it for 30 minutes because there's going to come a point when you're not going to feel like doing it. And you want to know that you're only going to have to do it for 30 minutes. It's like exercising.
Oh,
I
I
do
love it.
30-minute tape. I know in 30 minutes it's done. Even if I hate every minute of it, 30 minutes go. So if it's a big project, break it down, but don't break it down. Just start. You just have to start because it's the same thing we talked about before. It's layering. Like, okay, well, I cleaned out my linen closet. Okay, I did that. Now I'm going to clean out, these drawers in my dresser. And now, I mean, we're about to move. So I believe me, this is all very fresh for me because
Right.
it was like, how am I going to pack it? But I just started. I
It's
got the boxes,
overwhelming.
I got the tape, I got the bubble wrap, and I just
Yeah. Good for you.
so I think that's important. And the other thing is make it easy on yourself. If it's something like cleaning out your, downsizing or whatever, have your TV on. Maybe there's
Mhm.
like a fun, Netflix show you want to watch, or make a list of friends you want to call and talk on the phone, while you're doing it. Like when I was packing, set up things so that when, my daughter called me,
Mhm.
I didn't sit down to talk to her. I started packing. I had stuff ready that I knew once in a while I'm going to be on the phone, not work calls, but friendship or family calls. So make it fun. Play music. You don't have to torture yourself. And
I
then
love that.
and
Listen
then
to a podcast.
right, listen to your podcast. And then try to brag about it. Brag
Love
about it.
that.
Hey,
Brag
you
about
guys,
it.
you're gonna go out to dinner with your friends. Hey, you guys, you'll never believe it, but I cleaned out my pantry closet, and everyone at the table is gonna say, "Oh yeah, I need to," like boost yourself up a little bit, and you will get it done. So those are kind of my, and the whole get comfortable being uncomfortable. Sorry,
Mhm.
the things you have to do that you haven't done. Guess what? They're no fun, or you would have done them already.
It's so true.
So just do the do.
Do the do. Do the do.
Yeah.
I love that. It's me with my basement. You were talking right to me, weren't you?
I didn't even know, but okay.
And my husband's office is down there, and so is the cat litter box, and these 2 things are not coexisting well together. So, yeah. So I get it, but it's overwhelming. It's 29 years of accumulation in the cold storage and the other storage and in the main area. It's like,
Mhm.
where do you even start? So I love those tips. Can you recap them for us?
Yes. So decide what it is you want to do, then pick
Yep.
one component of it. Not the
Got it.
smallest, easiest, but not the biggest,
Yes.
a 2 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10.
Mhm.
And then allow yourself so many times a week that you're going to work on it for only 30 minutes. You set your
Love that.
timer, and when 30 minutes
Mhm.
is done, you are done. You don't stay. And that way, every time you'll be able to do it. And then once you get started doing it, then you're going to brag about it. You're going to talk about it, even if you have to write yourself a note. I did it, stick it on your bathroom mirror, whatever. Those are the things, because that's what's going to keep you going and feeling really good about it.
And it does, and it does feel good. It feels so good. I love when I do that in one room because then I walk through, I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I got this. Look, I did that." You know what I mean? It just boosts your
Right.
self-esteem.
And
Yeah.
I say all the time, action almost always feels better than doing nothing. No matter what you do, it feels better to do something than sit around saying, I should, why aren't I? Just start, just do
Yeah.
something.
I love it. Indecision stinks. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
and inactivity.
Yeah, inactivity. Yeah, you always feel better when you do something.
Mhm.
And just one small little tiny thing. That's why I love the way you broke that down into these small little steps. Um, and so it just really the little micro steps that you're making for yourselves really, I think, puts overwhelm at bay.
Right.
And overwhelm is one thing that'll just put everything in a screeching halt. And all that really is a story in your head, right? Like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, or whatever that is. Yours might be different than mine. Oh my gosh, there's too much coming at me at once. Whatever that is, break that down, right? Like you said, go for the simple. What's the worst thing that could happen?
Mhm.
Right? I don't get much done in 30 minutes, but at least you started, right?
Right. Right.
So,
Because a lot of times we carry these things with us like a big, heavy sack. Like, I have to clean out the basement. I have to clean out the basement. I have to clean out the basement. If you spent 30 minutes tomorrow on the basement, you'd feel a little less heavy. You'd say,
yes.
now you'd be saying, I've started cleaning out my basement.
And that feels
It
better.
wouldn't feel so heavy.
And another little thing that I love to do for myself, like I wouldn't have gotten my book with 13 chapters written if I didn't use the timer, right?
Mhm.
I love that, like the Pomodoro method. But the other thing is really just getting into it, right? Like setting the timer and actually doing it and then just feeling the power of that. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Putting it in my schedule. I
Yeah.
have to put things in my schedule. So like I literally will put a red event in there if I need to do something or if I want to remind myself to work out. Because if it's not in your schedule, you pretty much don't do it.
But yes, but you also, the part B of that is don't cancel on yourself.
Yes.
Very easy to move things
Yes.
around in your schedule. And so I think you have to say to yourself, if my friend wanted me to walk with her at this time,
Hmm.
would I
Hmm.
cancel on her? No.
Hmm.
You would
I hope
never
not.
cancel on someone else, but we do cancel on ourselves a lot. So you have to be careful. If you put it in put it in your schedule. I'm agreeing with you, but don't forget not to cancel on yourself.
Yes. Oh, you should never cancel on yourself.
Yeah.
You're the one person you have to show up for yourself. You can always count on yourself, right? That way you build that self-esteem because if you do cancel on yourself, your brain's like, she said she wants to do this, but like, yeah, no, we don't trust her. Because remember last time she said she was going to do the drawer, she didn't do the drawer. She's not going to do the basement, right? So it's keeping track of all this crap. It's keeping track of every time we screwed up. No, no, we don't trust her. So if you want to build that trust back with yourself, this is how you get it, one little step at a time. And I am going to put it in my calendar as soon as we hang up that tomorrow I'm going to find 30 minutes.
Do it. You'll feel
And
so great. You really will. You'll be so happy.
I'll
You
be
will.
so happy. And you know who else will be?
Your
My
husband
Yeah.
and the cat.
And the cats. All 3 of my boys, they will be really happy. So, it's time for us to wrap up, and I don't want to because we're having the best conversation. I just love the work you are doing. Thank you for doing this for all the women in the world.
Thank you.
Where can somebody find you if they wanna find out more about you?
Yep. So I make it very easy. My website is my name, Amy Goober, like the candy Goober, but singular, AMYGOOBER.com. And every single thing I do is on there. I just emailed my web designer, add this, add that. So that's where they can find me. And coming up is we do a big event called Better Together. It's in Waltham, Massachusetts. We usually get about 100 women in the room. We have 8 to 10 speakers. We have 10 this time. And they're all women experts in different fields, giving you like a 20-minute educational thing on whatever it might be. And we have so many great speakers, and we actually have a medium coming this time, which for the
Ooh.
And I speak, and my 94-year-old mother will speak, and then we have 8 other like top-notch women. We all have lunch together. It's a full-day event, and it's so uplifting. It's so upbeat. It's women sign up alone, and we're literally opening the doors. So whenever this might air, go to amygoober.com and you'll see that the event there, and treat yourself to a day. And it's not expensive. We keep the ticket price as low as we can, and that's why we have sponsors come in. We'd rather have the women business owners do a little bit of the lifting, and because women won't come if it's too expensive. They won't spend the money on themselves.
Of
But it's
course.
super fun. It's
They're
not
deserving.
expensive, super fun. You'll be glad you did. So that's
I love that. I love that. And it's just going to be, it sounds magical. And I want to be a speaker at one of your events because I just love what you're doing. I love everything you're doing. And thank you so much for coming on the show
You're so welcome. It was my great pleasure.
and for sharing all your wisdom. I mean, people are going to watch this multiple times because there's so much goodness in here. And thank you for sharing that with us today on Look for the Good. And remember, everybody, it is never too late to live your best story. Be well.
Thanks for tuning in to Look for the Good with your host, Carrie Rowan, best-selling author and mindset coach. Join us every Monday at 5 a.m. and 5 p.m. right here at Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. If you weren't able to catch an episode, no worries. Just visit our website to find all the archived episodes of Look for the Good on demand, so you don't miss a thing. And remember, it's never too late to live your best story. For additional resources or to find out about how you can work with Carrie directly, visit carrierowan.com for more details.